Dawn came softly on the last ordinary day. No thunder announced the ending. No fire split the sky. No creature stirring across the forests, plains, swamps, or inland seas had any sense that the world had already begun to change, that somewhere beyond the blue curve of atmosphere, a mountain of rock and metal had been falling through darkness for longer than any dynasty of life on Earth had yet existed. They could not have known. That is what makes this story so haunting. For more than 160 million years, dinosaurs had ruled the Earth. Not merely survived it, ruled it, shaped it. They had crossed deserts of red stone and walked beneath forests taller than cathedrals. They had hunted through shadowed valleys, nested on fern-covered hillsides, and thundered across floodplains so vast that the herds crossing them seemed like slow rivers of living flesh. Entire civilizations of creatures had risen and fallen beneath their feet. Generations beyond counting had lived, bred, hunted, and died under stars no human eye would ever see. And on this morning, everything still looked exactly as it always had. The sun rose over what is now North America, painting the horizon amber and gold. Mist drifted low over the floodplains. Giant conifers stood like dark pillars against the brightening sky. Flowering plants, still a relatively new feature of this ancient world, opened their faces to the warmth. Insects droned among cycads, and far off, rolling across the wetlands like echoes from the deep past, came the low, resonant calls of hadrosaurs beginning their morning feeding. The earth was alive, extravagantly, overwhelmingly alive. A young Tyrannosaur moved through the tree line, not yet fully grown, but already enormous. Every step sinking deep into the damp earth, every breath drawing in the layered scents of water, mud, rotting vegetation, and the distant musk of prey. It was hungry. It had been moving since before dawn, and hunger in a creature of this size is not a gentle thing. It is a pressure that builds against the ribs, sharpens every sense, and converts the whole body into a single focused instrument of pursuit. Through a curtain of ferns, it found them. A group of ceratopsians feeding among low shrubs. Horned giants with frills that glowed amber in the early light. Young clustered safely in the center, adults forming a wall at the edges. The Tyrannosaur watched, still and patient. It was not reckless. A full-grown horned dinosaur's horns were not decoration. They were weapons capable of killing even an apex predator. So it waited, reading the herd, searching for weakness. An old animal, a separated juvenile, a limp. Then the wind shifted. One ceratopsian raised its massive head, frill fanning wide. It snorted, stamped, and the herd responded with immediate, practiced discipline. Young pressed inward, adults fanning outward, horns dropping to meet the tree lean. The Tyrannosaur stepped back into shadow. There'd be other hunts. There had always been other hunts. Near a slow river threading through reeds and tall grasses, a group of hadrosaurs fed in the shallows, duck-billed and social, grunting softly to one another as they stripped branches. Among the adults moved hatchlings, small and quick, threading between legs like children in a crowd. One stumbled in the mud and cried out, a thin, sharp sound that cut through the morning calm. Its mother turned instantly, and from the shallows, something else moved too. Crocodilian eyes, patient as stones, broke the river's surface. The predator surged forward in an eruption of mud and white water, and for a moment the outcome hung perfectly balanced, speed against speed, hunger against love. But the mother was faster. She shoved the hatchling behind her and took the crocodilian's charge with her body, teeth snapping against teeth. Then the herd reacted, massive feet pounding the bank, the river churning under their weight, and the predator vanished beneath the surface. The hatchling pressed trembling against its mother's side. The river settled. Life moved on. To them, it was just another morning survived. Farther inland, the forest shook under a different kind of giant. Long-necked sauropods, animals so enormous they constituted their own ecosystems, moved slowly among the trees, necks arching into the high canopy. Whole communities of insects, reptiles, and small feathered hunters organized themselves around these creatures, feeding in their wake, sheltering in the disturbance of their passing. Two smaller predators, lean, feathered, calculating, had been circling a young sauropod for an hour. They were patient too, in their way. One slipped left, one moved right. The juvenile froze, and then from deep in the herd came a sound that changed everything. A low, resonant boom, felt more than heard, answered by another adult, then another, until the scattered feeders had become a wall of ancient muscle and bone. The hunters backed into the undergrowth. Today was not their day.